It's pretty nice. It's long, and there's zero air circulation. It is so hot. I mean, these aren't hot, but there's just no air back here. I mean, I'm in the corner of the room. Yeah. Our student athletes from Oklahoma, Jamal Biemi, Christian Doolittle, Christian James, and Brady Manick. We'll now open the floor for questions to the student athletes. In the middle, and again, just a reminder today, if you could introduce yourself and let us know your affiliation.
Barry Trammell with the Oklahoman. Christian James, can you talk about playing a big role on the Final Four team and sort of your mindset at that point, thinking, you know, this is going to happen every year and all those things, and then 3 years later here you finally got another NCAA tournament victory, and just the frustrations of fighting through what I assume you were sort of expecting going to happen a lot?
Well, definitely coming in as a freshman, you don't know how hard it is on a collegiate level of making it to the Final Four. So my freshman year, I thought we was gonna go every year, but it's definitely a lot harder than what it looks. You know, having great guard play and just great players on my freshman team. We had some struggles my sophomore year and my junior year, but just knowing what it takes and just hard work, dedication, and just locking in every game. You know, you have to take every game seriously. And I feel like this team, we have a pretty good team, and we can do that. You know, I feel like we can go on a big run. We got a lot of work ahead, though.
Second row, right side.
Yes, this is for Brady. David Teal with the Daily Press in Newport News, Virginia. The numbers would indicate that yesterday was your best, the team's best offensive game of the season. Did you as a player perceive it as such?
Yeah, I think so. I think yesterday was probably the most fun we've had as a team. We came out and we hit them first, and everybody contributed, whether it was finding an open guy or knocking down shots. I think everybody played a really big role in yesterday's victory.
The left side, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Collins with the Associated Press, and I guess this is for any of y'all. Do you, in a region that has, I think, 3 double-digit seeds left, and y'all are the 9 seed here, do you feel like a Cinderella at all? Do you feel like a Cinderella because you got to take on the top seed tomorrow?
Start with Jamal.
Nah, we expect to be in this position. That's what we worked for all season. We kept chipping away, and this is just our expectation.
Like Jamal said, you know, we've worked hard. We've worked hard all year just to get to this point. I don't want to say a Cinderella story, but we've worked hard, and we kind of expect to be in this situation. So we just want to take it one game at a time, lock in and focus. You know, when the lights come on, we just want to show up.
Yeah, I don't think we want to take anybody lightly. We know what we have to do. We know we have to bring energy like we did yesterday, and we know we got to just play hard and play together.
Front row on the right side.
Ron Counts from the Daily Progress. This is for Brady and for Christian. UVA's pack line defense, everyone knows about it. They play to keep teams out of the paint. You guys have a really strong inside-out game. What do you think about that system, and what's the key to maybe competing against that system?
I think just moving the ball, finding the open guy, finding a possible mismatch here and there, just doing small things correctly and hopefully getting better results.
You're asking me?
Which Christian?
Moving the ball, like Brady said, inside and out, just being able to make the right play, not really forcing the issue, like we did the other day, being able to just take the right shot and just trusting the offense that we have set in stone for the game.
Second row, right side.
Yes, this is for Christian James. Christian, Virginia's ranked among the top 10 nationally in defensive efficiency, but so too are Texas Tech and Kansas State, teams you're very familiar with. As you have studied Virginia, I don't know how much you've gotten into yet, but do you see any similarities between UVA and perhaps Texas Tech and or Kansas State, especially on the defensive end?
Almost definitely. You know, they're both long teams, very long, and they play great help defense. You know, when we're penetrating, they do a great job of swarming to the ball. You know, so that's something that they have in similarities, and things like that. But they're great teams. You know, great teams. We've been watching them, we've been studying them, and like Brady said, we just have to move the ball, find the right guy, find an open man.
The left side in the middle.
Yeah, Christian James, you guys are a senior-dominated team, but out of the four up there, you're the only senior. Do you find yourself as a senior being more desperate when you reach the NCAA tournament, realizing, hey, this is my last chance? Got a bigger sense of urgency maybe than you did before your senior year?
Most definitely. You know, last year and my sophomore year, I was really frustrated. You know, we made to the tournament last year, but it kind of hurt me a lot. So just looking forward and being in the situation again, I don't want to take anything for granted. You know, if it being a senior on this team, just making plays or just getting somebody else going, you know, that's really big for our team because we have a lot of great players. And I just want to come out and do whatever it can to just to get a win. You know, the energy has to be there. You know, I'll make sure my team is ready to play.
Left side.
Yeah, Brady, 3 of the last 4 games, you got 22, 21, and 18 points. What's the reason for your game sort of accelerating to such consistent high production?
I think just having guys like Jamal on the court with me, finding an open guy, having other threats on the court too. You can't just face guard me the whole time. They have other guys on the court to be threats on the offensive end, and I think just everybody having their confidence up. We played well yesterday, and like going back to the Texas and Kansas games, I mean, everybody really had their confidence high, and I think that plays a big part in how everybody and myself score like that.
On the right side.
This is for any one of you guys who would care to answer. If they didn't look so much alike, would you know that the two Coach Krugers are related just in the way they act or the way they interact?
Jamal and Christian Doolittle.
Man, I mean, Kev has his own personality. Kev, we call Coach Kruger's son Kev because they're both Krug. But you know, Kev has his own personality. You know, he's a young guy, so we have side conversations with him all the time. You know, Big Krug been through it all, so he's speaking from experience whenever he's telling us something. You know, we can relate to Kev whenever we're just sitting around just talking or chilling. But to answer your question, I mean that's kind of tough. I mean, I'm pretty sure Big Krug was just the way Kev is when he was younger, so it's kind of hard.
I agree with that. I mean, I spent a lot of time with Coach Kev, and I can definitely see some similarities, and I can see Coach Kruger acting like Kev when he was younger.
Front row on the left.
Doug Dowdy from the Roanoke Times in Virginia for Christian James. It looks as if you had that 5-game losing streak, that you went to TCU, got the win, kind of turned it. What kind of turning point was that in your season?
It was huge. It was huge for us. You know, we went on a losing streak, and we went to their place and got a win. So that was big for us just to go get an away game, just to get our momentum rolling again.
Left side, second row.
Aaron McFarling with the Roanoke Times. Brady, what was missing during the 5-game losing streak? Why did that happen, and what's better now?
I don't know. I just think we had a few close ones, and then it kind of brought us down. And getting that TCU win brought us back up. But I think just our confidence level was kind of low at the time, and I think winning a few games got it back up and led to where we are now.
Front row on the right side.
For Christian Doolittle, Gene Wong with the Washington Post. Just wanted to get your impressions on Virginia's bigs, in particular Mamadi Diakite, and kind of what challenges he brings on the defensive end.
Can you say the names again? Okay, yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot better. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to pronounce their name, but you know, our coach is telling us today that all their bigs are really tall and long. You know, they read the post on every post touch, whether it be the bigs or guards. So passing the ball out would be very tough. Being able to throw around hands. But with that said, we have to make them pay for doubling. So just making the right play, and knocking down shots.
Any more questions for the student athletes from Oklahoma? Thank you, gentlemen. I don't believe, I didn't get confirmation, but I will walk Steve. Steve, the director, is in the back. Blue sport coat with a burgundy tie. Let me switch these out. I'm doing well. How are you? Did you get some rest? I did it. Some, maybe? Some. It's that time of year. Oklahoma head coach Lon Kruger will start questioning on the right-hand side.
Coach, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. I was talking to your son about the experience of playing for you, working for you, and I'm just curious, you know, as a coach who's seen all that it entails in the business, did you want Kevin to go into coaching after basketball, and what has that experience been like?
It's been a great experience. You know, what he chose to do, you just, as any parent, you want your kids to be happy and enjoy what they do, and I'm not disappointed that he decided to do that for sure, but certainly it was his decision. But it's been great. From the time as a player, you know, when a young guy or daughter, you know, they leave home after high school, you don't really expect to be around them on a daily basis ever again, perhaps. And we've been blessed with the opportunity to spend a lot of time together since he graduated from high school and then graduated from Arizona State when he came back as a fifth-year grad to UNLV, and then now back on the staff. So it's fantastic. Yeah, you can't beat it.
Front row on the right.
Josh Needleman for the Charlottesville Daily Progress. Coach, Kie Clark for Virginia yesterday was very active in terms of chasing loose balls, getting steals, getting rebounds. What have you seen from him so far, and how do you prepare for a player like that who's so active?
He's engaged in everything. Like you say, he's active defensively. He's alert, like all their players do a great job of being alert, focused on each possession. He keys a lot of things that they do offensively. Terrific leader for them, it appears. Does a good job on both ends.
The left side, right on the aisle.
Josh Kendall with the State. Lon, how has the recruiting of international guys changed since you first became a college coach?
Back then, it was probably rare to have a foreign player on a team. You know, now it seems like a majority of teams have at least one from outside the country. So just the numbers of foreign players has changed a lot. I think the technology, the video, you know, the information that's available today on foreign players much greater than it was 40 years ago, for sure.
Do you find yourself recruiting them more through that technology, or do you get out and get feet on the ground and go see those guys? How do you do it?
Usually begins with technology, a video on someone, and then you're intrigued, and maybe you have international competition, or you may catch them when they're touring the United States. We did that with Matt Freeman. We saw some video. Then he was playing in an event in Vegas, actually, that we watched him 4 or 5 summers ago and liked him more. So usually starts with a video, though, on someone that gives us a heads up on someone.
The right side on the aisle.
David Teal with the Daily Press in Newport News, Virginia. Coach, you competed against Dick Bennett back when you were both in the Big Ten. As you study Virginia on film, do you see Dick Bennett in what Tony Bennett does?
Well, Tony does he's got his own stamp on everything he does, but certainly how difficult it is to score, the great job they do defensively. His dad, teams are always like that. So maybe a little bit different style in a way, but still the difficulty in playing against him is very similar for sure.
Front row on the right.
Coach, Virginia is known for its pack line defense. What have you seen out of their defense, and have you faced anyone this year that you can compare their defense to?
Yeah, they're very, very good. So there's not many people as good in the country as they are. Probably out of our league, the two teams that are a little bit pack line, very, very tough to score on. Texas Tech, Kansas State probably remind you more in preparation than any other teams, and we had trouble scoring on those teams. So we've got to improve for tomorrow.
On the left side.
Lon, Jeffrey Collins with the Associated Press. When you're approaching tomorrow's game, do you kind of play the psychological angle that, hey, you're the 9 seed, you can be Cinderella, or do you go at it, hey, you play in the Big 12, you're just, you play teams like this all the time, go just have at it?
Combination probably of the two. We want to play, we want to be aggressive, we want to attack, we want to be dictating. We try to go into every ball game thinking that way, and certainly we played a lot of very good teams in the Big 12, and Virginia's as good as any of them, obviously, based on the rankings. So, but yeah, we'll go in, swing away, and try to do the things that give us the best chance to be effective.
Third row on the right.
A couple more on your son real quickly. He mentioned that earlier in your career you were not a guy to sit. Your demeanor on the sideline has changed. Is that older, wiser? What's behind that?
Well, I don't know if it's, I don't think about how it's changed necessarily, but yeah, probably, I don't know about the wiser part, certainly the older part for sure.
And in terms of your relationship away from the court and away from, do you have to guard against being too much Oklahoma basketball with him and trying to have some other, or is every family dinner Oklahoma basketball related?
No, it's I think a good mixture. I mean, certainly when you start the season in early October, there really aren't any days off until it ends in April. So it's kind of just every coach's life. I don't know that you ever go through a day not thinking about basketball and talking about basketball. So there's certainly a blend of that, but there's a lot of other interest as well.
Right side.
Coach, the numbers would indicate that yesterday was your team's best offensive performance of the season, if not going back even farther. From a coach's more critical eye, was that indeed the case?
Probably one of the top ones for sure. I guess 3 weeks ago, probably Kansas had a really good, similar type performance against Kansas in Norman. We had a good margin throughout the game and kind of played for 40 minutes. I thought yesterday the key was being able to sustain it for 40 minutes. Off to such a great start, and they made a little run to start the second half, but then we scored quickly right on the heels of their run and kind of widened the margin back out. So I thought the guys were really focused for 40 minutes and took good care of the ball, and shot selection was good, and like the guys mentioned, moved the ball well and trusted each other and made good plays.
Front row on the right.
Coach, Christian James, I believe, was on your Final Four team as a freshman. How much have you leaned on him this season for leadership, and specifically in this tournament environment, how much do you lean on him to kind of guide the younger guys?
Yeah, we've got 7 or 8 seniors, so it's a case where you kind of collectively they do a great job, Christian being one of them. He's played a big role for us all year long. He's made big shots for us. Thought he really had a good game yesterday, not just offensively, but his focus and engagement on the defensive end and rebounding the ball and just the complete game I thought was really good from him yesterday.
Front right in the corner.
Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel. Coach, 25-year anniversary of your Final Four team at Florida. What do you remember about that team? What did you learn from that team and sort of just the legacy of that team?
Yeah, it was a great group of young guys. I think probably the biggest thing, they really trusted each other. I think they respected the abilities, expected one another to take care of their responsibilities. It really came together as the year developed. A lot of confidence out of the group, great leadership, out of Dan Cross and Andrew DeClerc, Dimitri Hill, Brian Thompson, Craig Brown. You can go down the list a long way, and they were very secure with themselves and trusted each other and enjoyed playing together.
Back right.
Lon, your teams have always run really great offense, and even through the period of time when things got really, difficult to move. And so I'm wondering, now we're like 3 or 4 years into the freedom of movement thing, really going at it from the rules standpoint. What you've thought of that initiative and whether you think it's effective in making the game more attractive?
Well, I think the intentions are great. I think people want to see movement. They want to see, scoring. I think it opened up a little bit. I don't know that we fully, maximized on our goals. I think it's tough to score in the low post, all the physicalness of that. I think that's why you see more people going to the three-point shot. It's such a higher percentage shot than it takes a really skilled guy to score in the low post with all the contact that occurs on every shot. And so I think that's not necessarily healthy for the game. I think we would like to maybe get back to re-examining where we're at and where we want to go, and maybe try to clean it up even a little bit more. Today, a guy keep his hands back, he can pretty much do whatever he wants to with his body, in the low post especially. There's a lot of walking under. There's a lot of moving into guys as they shoot the ball. So it makes it tough to score in there.
Third row on the right side.
Coach, as you look at Ty Jerome and the way he sort of commands things offensively and defensively, what challenges does he present? And specifically, his willingness to take threes from just inside of the half-court line, how does that enter into your defensive plan?
He's terrific. Like you say, he can score from deep. He can get into the paint and score. He's very, very good with ball screens and making plays, finding big guys. He just puts the pressure on the defense all the time because he sees the floor. He's got great vision, great imagination, really a good player.
Front row on the inside aisle.
Hey, Lon. Gene Wong with the Washington Post. You'd mentioned the difficulty about scoring in the post. When you look at Virginia's bigs, particularly Mamadi Diakite, kind of what do you see out of him and the challenges that he presents?
Yeah, he's terrific. He's long, rangy in there. The bigs, they've got great poise when they catch it inside. He did a great job last night of catching a couple times in a crowd and just collecting himself and letting the defense kind of make a mistake and then score. He's got, and again, Hunter's great. Salt, brings a different dimension to it. So their big guys are good.
Any more questions for Coach? Thank you.
Thank you.
The Oklahoma locker room will remain open until 2:15.